Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first session on document digitization. Thanks for joining us. My name is Amul, and I'm a business transformation expert, and I'm representing the trends in the industry today. And I'm associated with the Maryland-based software company Sailotech, and we are specialized in business-to-business digital transformations, forward and faster. Yeah, it's a real privilege to have Raj with us. Raj has been in industries expert and architect for many products and the solutions. So here we are going to discuss about the document digitizations and what is the role of AI and ML in document digitizations. So let's have Raj here and let me ask this question to Raj.
Hey,
So
thank you. Thanks, Amul. Thanks for the nice introduction. And yeah, welcome everyone to this session. It's great to have everyone like across the globe. I see a lot of people coming in. So thank you. Thanks for everyone joining the session. Yeah, we would like to make this one as much as interactive. So yeah, please go ahead, Amul.
sure, thank you, Raj. So yeah, let's have this a very very interactive and a very small session. The first session what we have. So I have a couple of questions to you, like which definitely I'm sure there are people who are interested to understand this. So the first question what I have, like, so how we can transform AI based document based processing. So that's the first question what I have.
Sure, Amul. I think starting itself, you nailed the bite. I think it's a great question. That's what I think everybody is looking at. So before we go, let's start like what is actually the digitization of a document, right? So there are different ways of doing that, and one of the ways is converting the documents into electronic form that can be searched, retrieved, and also can be shared by others. So that is one of the main things what we need to do from the digitization perspective. And one of the key things what we observed in the recent times is COVID pandemic, right? Where we need to try to work from home, and also and if you are actually working from home, and the digitization becomes a biggest driver, or during the digitization become the biggest driver during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay.
The biggest challenge, for the digitization data is speeding up a process, and also a majority as happens in the PDFs, and also the hard copies, right? So, and there are a lot of delays, a frustrating delays, time consuming, that's not only affect the employees, but also the customer's perspective to the service quality, right? So, and as you know, I mean, you are also in the industry, this one becomes much more important, and especially for the companies the healthcare, banking, and then a legal supply chain, it becomes much more important. So
Absolutely.
the earlier approaches, were focused, it's coming to your question, Amal, the earlier approaches, right? Where we used to have it. Yes, we used to digitize it, but we used to digitize some of the techniques the edge detection and cropping, and also using some regular expressions.
Mhm.
These worked, but definitely not accurate. The reason is when you know that when we do that scanning of the documents and all those things, if you do tilt like this and then you try to scan it, because you've used the digitized techniques, it takes a lot of time. You are actually not able to identify that particular data that to be extracted.
Okay.
That's when the AI based document processing came into picture.
Right.
So what this one does is it actually trains the model using the input and the output images, so that your model automatically learns the features from these images. And
Okay.
also AI made enormous strides of what the business called computer vision now, means just like as we are actually looking at, and the
Mhm.
ability to recognize and what it sees and the decisions. That's actually it's a it's a lot of innovation that happened during this one. And using this AI powered document processing can definitely be much more accurate,
Mhm.
as well as and also can extract the documents also quickly. I hope I answered your question, Amal.
Yes, Raj, absolutely. So, yeah, that's really great, Raj. So, and the same on the base of this question, I have another question to you. Like, see, as you said, this AI and ML, it's going to be transformed this, document-based processing. So, I just wanted to know the benefits, like the short-term and the long-term benefits and document digitizations. So, how this AI and ML is going to be beneficial for this?
For sure. You know, again one more like the because yeah as I mentioned, like the digitization, how it's actually important, like in the current era, like when you have everything is kind of digital, like take it at the flights, or like take it from the finance perspective, healthcare and insurance and everything, like that's where the digital. So let's talk about the real ROIs, right? Like means yeah, there may be intangible, and then like there may be tangible. Means where you can show the numbers, and then like where it can be shown, like with now without the numbers. One of the things, like what it's actually very important is employee happiness using this AI based power tool, right?
Right.
So the employees are much more happy because they don't need to do the mundane tasks like in which they were doing it earlier. Like I means okay, you have this document, means I want to enter that particular document data and all those things. Um, hey Amul,
Yeah.
not
Yes.
sure like
Yes.
whether we are live or not, but like I see that somebody saying that we are still not live.
I can see we are live, but not sure. Yeah, but the visitors. Yeah, let me check. Just give me a second, Raj. I'll also check it one more time.
It's
There
showing
is.
like waiting for the broadcast.
Sure, sure. It's already live actually. So, anyways, Raj, I think we can continue, or else, if there are any some technical issues, so what we can do, I think we can
Yeah, we
see
can always
again
have the recording.
in next couple of minutes, because we thought, okay, we can have just 15 minutes, or 10 to 15 minutes discussion, and then I think later again we can just make it live if there any issue, technical issue or something. So,
Sounds good, Upin.
yeah,
Sorry. Sounds
I
good,
will.
Amol.
Okay.
Yeah. So as I was explaining, like the employee happiness, right? Like that's actually the biggest advantage of it. Like it means from the study also, Amol, like yeah, at least it takes 1.8 hours per day. Like for each and every resource
Mm-hmm.
to find the correct document. Like yeah, so that means 9 hours per week. And if you calculate, like if you hire like 5 people, right?
Right.
Really, the actual work is being done like only by 4. So
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
like so definitely means the ripple effect of that one is definitely from costing perspective, happiness perspective, and also like the time, the moreover the improved efficiency. Like that kind of translates into the happy customers, and also like enjoy the faster service and more flexible and dynamic experience. Like because of this digital interactions, like what that's happening, it's definitely win-win for everyone.
Okay.
The other biggest advantage, right, like means as we discussed about the COVID pandemic, centralized access control
Hmm.
means earlier, like means most of people are working from homes, they cannot have these documents to be accessed from anywhere. So now, like the centralized, because of the digitization effort, you can digitize it and store it at one location where it can be accessible for everyone,
Okay.
and then all employees can know that, like which have to find the required information. They don't need to go to offices, they can still work on the remote, but the work can be done even much more faster, and then like that can be more productive. Since all this information is stored at one place, and then like made it visible to all the workers with a minimal effort, it becomes less complicated, like to trace and record, like to know that what all the new files and who accesses, and all those things also is important.
Okay.
The other main important, again, like is saving the money, right? How we can
Hmm.
save the money here? Just like from the US companies itself, because of the paper, they're actually wasting $8 billion per
Oh,
year just on the
yeah.
wasting of the paper, right?
It's a
Like
huge amount. It's a huge amount. Yeah.
it's huge, it's huge,
Hmm.
Amal, it's huge, right? So every employee, like means because of the hard copies that are coming in, it's 10,000 sheets per year, right? Like
Oh,
so now because of the digitization, you really don't need to store, you can recycle it, because yeah, that's what you can definitely recycle it. And then like means you can store all the information like in a digitized format, where you can again go search, retrieve, share it with whatever you want to do and all those things, right? So this is where and how it's going to be ripple effect. One is saving the costing like that, and also with efficiency, and the most important thing is accuracy, right? Which we talked about, how much of accurate we can try to be, going with this ROI process, with the new AI based digital processing.
Okay.
So that is where the most the tangible and intangible benefits, I'll add one more important thing, one more important thing, just to add, because if some customer is actually going to have this particular the digital with the AI based digital processing,
Hmm.
they
Okay.
can, okay, they brought it for finance, right? And tomorrow, if they really like it, they can even process it to the to a different customer, means from their HR department or payroll, wherever the digitization required. It's simple, because you can process it any document and make it to digitize also to any document. So that's where this they can be used anywhere, it's going to be very easy for all the transformations and all those things that can be done.
Okay.
It's a little bit long, but hopefully I answered your question, Amal.
Yeah, absolutely, Raj, and that's really great example what you have given on the ROI as well. And the amount you said, it's really, it's a huge amount.
Yeah.
How much they are, how they are investing, and it's really it's a amazing. And by using this, they can save a lot of again, and the amount and the revenue. It's I'm sure they can generate a lot of revenue as well. So I
Oh
have
yeah.
more the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
more question to you, Raj. I'm sure this is going to be last question. And we thought, okay, we can have a very small session where, and the in the next session we can include some more use cases and the different aspects of this related to this digitization. So the last question what I have, if you can just give me or explain about the latest success on digital transformation. What exactly the recently how it got benefited to the customers. So if you can just give me the latest success, that would be great, Raj.
Great. Sure, sure, Amal. Yeah. I think this is where I can introduce even our product, yeah, called
Okay.
iCapture. But before we get to that, we worked with one of the customer who is into the equipment manufacturing, yeah, which they do that equipment manufacturing, and we worked with the kind of end-to-end account payable process,
Okay.
which uses which definitely uses the digital transformation of the POs, invoices, non-POs that are coming in from different sources. Means earlier, what they used to do is they used to enter the data manually into their accounting systems. So now that's the time we kind of worked on this particular project, took it as a challenge, and I want to here quickly explain about evolution of what we were actually planning to do and all those things also, Amol. So when we have started this particular project, that we have started this around a 2.5, 3 years back and all those things, with a lot of R&D and everything.
Absolutely.
So when we have started this, we went through the regular expressions. Means regular expressions are nothing but where that where the developer has to go code where that particular invoice number, key value, and then they need to do that. That did not work,
Okay.
because the templates, they have a lot of templates. It became a big maintenance nightmare, for us to go and tackle that got shoved off. So always think it's a success, when you want to get success, you have to have some failures also. We learned something from there. Then we went to the cropping mechanism, in the edge detection kind of things and all those things, where we are giving a control to the user, and the
Okay.
user can really go and crop that particular this one's, where that invoice number is and all that stuff. It worked. Again, accuracy is also a lot more, maintenance also the best. But we have received some of the documents which are tilted, and then some of the documents which are actually not a really with a good quality and all those things. So then I had to we again went to the drawing board. We went to the drawing board. Okay, what can we do the best here, right? So that's when where we found out the we use the Google Vision APR, the computer vision APR, and then where we wrote our engineers and everyone where we have written a wrapper around that, which is completely with the AI ML models, and and it has a user defined uh, keywords. Like the user can go into their uh, into the portal, and they can enter the keywords, synonyms, and everything also. So that's where where it definitely wows for the customer and all those things. I think we are going to talk about our tool, like iCapture, in coming sessions. But I want to just tell, means, yeah, we went through a phases of it, but finally the customer is so happy, and we are getting a lot more repetitive customers also by doing that. So
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, Raj, I got that. I got that. So that's really, amazing. So we have, got this customers on the iCaptures, and then the success story, what you said, that's really good. So I think we definitely gonna talk in the next session, on the, I think, 30th November at the same time. So it's gonna be a very, interesting again. So thanks, Raj. I would say thanks for sharing your industry experience here. So we will connect again in our next session.
Yeah,
So
thank you, Amul. Means, yeah, we will talk a lot more. There are a lot of things means, yeah, challenges, and also we talk about our own product called iCapture, and what's it's good at, and why is the best, why is it the best in the industry, and all those things. We'll definitely talk about all that. Right. So yeah, let's meet again in 1 week from now, 30th November, around same time. Thanks, everyone.
thank you. Thanks, and
Happy holidays, and happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy and be safe.
happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot, Raj.